January 20th cannot come soon enough as TDA rushes the southern border on Texas agents. Let's check it out.
We begin with a new report that the vicious Venezuelan gang TDA are mobbing border crossings at El Paso, Texas in an attempt to break into the U.S. before Trump takes office. And they've attacked border agents who have tried to stop them. According to the New York Post, at least 20 TDA members tried to force their way into the U.S. last week, attacking border agents with knives, tire irons, and broken liquor bottles. Texas officials reportedly believe another break-in is expected.
You know, and I wonder how Texas DPS or Texas Military Department responded to that. To me, there's only one way to respond, but I'm not going to say that on here.
Later tonight, they were alerted by an anonymous informant who said the violent border break-ins by the gang would continue every night around 3 a.m. One retired Homeland Security agent describing the prison gang like this, quote, "They hate the United States just like terrorists do, and they will kill, destroy, take over businesses, take over stores, and take over apartment complexes, do whatever they have to do to destroy our way of life in the U.S." And the new violence is happening just miles from the scene of this migrant riot back in March. These migrants were not armed gang members, but several Texas service members were still injured in this blitz. Now, incoming border czar Tom Homan says it's time to deport TDA and make America safe.
President Trump is committed to secure the border and save lives. We're going to run a deportation.
You know, how was that not an invasion? This is a direct result of the Biden administration. You have Texas service members being violently attacked with broken bottles and tire irons and things like that. It's madness, and it has to stop, and it will stop soon.
Operation will get rid of TDA that killed so many young ladies in this country. We're going to get rid of criminals. We're going to get rid of gang members. We're going to make this country safe again. President Trump's going to make this country safe again. We're going to make the border great again. We're going to make this country great again. We're going to do the best thing we can for America, and that's secure border. Secure border saves lives.
All right, we'll bring things to the panel. I think the clear start here would be with Nicole on this issue. I want to get your thoughts as this is a really terrifying new report and what our border agents are facing.
It's very, very dangerous there at the border, and I cannot tell you enough how much we need to have gratitude for what those law enforcement officers are trying to do. They are trying to put their safety behind public safety, and Governor Abbott recently named TDA a foreign terrorist organization group, and that is that's a big deal. And that does allow law enforcement to put more resources, more funding when the threat is at the highest level, then they can actually go and address the threat. And that's what Americans need right now. And I am a Texan, and I can respect the fact that Texas has taken the brunt of this migrant issue and this border crisis. It is absolute chaos. But good for Governor Abbott to get in there and say, you know what, enough is enough. And what is disturbing to me is that this administration has fought him every step of the way. I mean, why is this even a political issue? We're Americans.
You know, she's right. It shouldn't be a political issue. And Joe Biden and his administration have fought Governor Abbott every step of the way, like she said. When it comes to the razor wire, they tried to get them to stop putting razor wire up. We saw Border Patrol agents from Customs Border Patrol cutting razor wire when Texas kept putting it back up. But Governor Abbott was resilient, lawsuits were filed, and we won those cases. And then we also saw it with the floating buoys. Governor Abbott had those floating buoys in the river, and Biden tried to get those to be taken away as well. Why are you trying to stop why are you trying to stop Texas from securing the border when you're not doing your job? Oh, actually, that answers the question right there. I mean, Biden's not doing it, so of course he's not going to allow Texas to do it.
Should want our country to be safe, and particularly Texas. So I do respect that he did name it a foreign terrorist organization group. TDA has affected all cities nationwide. We've seen it in New York. You've seen it in Aurora. It's very, very dangerous. They have no respect for human life, and we cannot tolerate this anymore. And with the Trump administration coming in and Homan, the gig is up. They know that they need to get in as quickly as possible, and that's why you're seeing this blitz at the border in the very last moments.
Dr. Siegel, thank you for joining us, being our man in the middle today. Nicole raises a great point. We're talking about the spread of something. In this case, a gang. They've been noted to be in at least 19 states all across the country. Your thoughts?
Couple of points. Agree with Nicole. It's a terrorist group. What does terrorism mean? Not only does it cause great havoc and damage, but it scares everyone. So it creates a whole sense of unsafe.
Real quick, I want to get to this story. Mexican immigration agent was killed by by two Venezuelan migrants near Texas crossing, where Tren de Agua had threatened to attack Texas border troops. It's from New York Post. Two Venezuelan migrants have been arrested after they brutally killed a Mexican border agent when he asked to see their identification papers across the border from El Paso, Texas, where TDA gangbangers have recently threatened to increase violence against U.S. troops on ground. This is not only impacting troops here on our side of the border, it's impacting the men and women on the other side as well. And we saw this happen. This is on Joe Biden. This is on Joe Biden's hands. Let's keep going. The federal agent identified as Luis Alberto Olivares Garcia was ambushed Monday at a checkpoint in the northern state of Chihuahua, according to Mexico's National Migration Institute. The murder immigration agent suffered an apparent head injury to the injury in the assault, with his body also showing signs of violence. Tragic, man. Tragic because the agent just been recognized for 30 years of service of the federal agency prior to his death. So you go 30 years. You go 30 years, and then this happens. Absolutely insane. Let's keep going.
Around, and that's why Holman's great, because he's out there talking a big talk, and they're going to follow it up with action. The other part of this that worries me is the countries that these these gang members are coming from. Venezuela is feeding this. They have an airlines called Conviasa, where literally the migrants get on the plane and come over here, and they get reimbursements, international reimbursements, for sending people here. And then they use a false narrative that it's all because of the sanctions in place in these countries, when in reality, it's repression. It's elitism over there, where the rich get richer and the poor suffer, and then they escape to a country that uses that word in the Biden administration, asylum. Asylum, instead of the words that we're going to be using now, which is a country with secure borders.
And Carrie, the Trump administration is vowing that these plans are going to start going in the other direction, and mass deportations will be underway, particularly focused on criminals such as gang members.
Exactly. Criminals, public safety, terrorists. Tom Homan's been very explicit about that. But I think they understand that they need to stop the bleeding. You get me, Dr. Siegel, right? So stop the bleeding, cauterize the wound, and that's how you're going to make Americans safer. So instead of incentivizing all of these people to come here, you must deter. No incentivizing, deterrence, deterrence, deterrence. We see it in the geopolitical stage. It works there. It's going to work at our borders, too. And I do think it's worth repeating that these next 20-ish days or so, we are extremely vulnerable. As Nicole said, that's why they're rushing over the border. They're opportunists. Terrorists are opportunists, first and foremost. We know they look at soft targets, first and foremost, as well. And they're going to come over as much as they can because they know a new man is going to be in the Oval Office and he's actually going to attempt to deter them.
Yeah, there are enormous costs involved, costs to our society, but also monetary costs. And Lauren?
They're expected, this prison gang that's been in existence for, 10 years as they expand and expand, they're expected to be in 25 states, so half the country, by February. So they're trying to get in, as we all point out right now, before Tom Homan and Trump come in. Tom Homan says, I know where they are. We're going to deport them. If we can't make a deal to get Venezuela to take them back, we're talking to other countries. Someone is going to take them back, but they are already here.
Yeah.
Please
They're
do.
in half the country, and they're scaring people because they are a terrorist organization.
Yeah,
and we can't afford that, because these aren't the migrants that are taking our jobs. These are the migrants that are scaring us and harming us.
Yeah, Lauren has a great point, because
And I think that's a lot worse. You have the illegal immigrants coming here that freeload, live off the system, that may take some American jobs. Not all, but I'm just saying some do. And yes, that's a problem. But the bigger problem are the ones that are coming here, terrorizing us, scaring us. Terrorist suspects, gang members, cartels, all of that. Number one priority right there is get those people out of the country.
because it's 19 now, it was 16 a month ago, 25 is the prediction just around the corner, Nicole.
I just think that, again, now is the time to act, because the problem that we have is that we are sitting ducks, because the damage that has been done under this administration. I love Tom Homan. I love his message. I love that he says we're going to clean house and we're going to deport. Unfortunately, the damage has been done, and it's going to be difficult to weed all of these people out, particularly the criminals. You know, people are concerned about this deportation. He's starting with the most violent criminals. These are people that are taking American lives. This is what we should want. We should want them gone. But again, it's like a game of hide and seek. They've been coming in for 4 years, almost welcome. People think that they're welcome here, and they've been coming in, and all of a sudden, we have to track all of them down and say, you are no longer welcome. It's time to go.
And there are some communities vowing that they're not going to be cooperating.
You know, Nicole made a great point about our Custom and Border Protection agents being at risk. They're already overwhelmed with all of this. Now they're at physical risk and physical harm. And then you have the National Guard. You got to wonder about the U.S. military being directly involved in this.
Wait, it will be a...
Look, I'm all for that. I know Mexico's worried about Trump going into Mexico and using the military. We'll see what happens with that. But here's another report that I found from Newsmax. Study shows that the drug cartel is the 5th largest Mexican employer. Boasting an estimated 175 members, drug cartels are the 5th largest employer in Mexico, according to a new study by research center Complexity Science Hub. 150 different cartels are able to maintain the numbers by recruiting more than 350 people per week. New recruits offset the nearly 60,000 cartel members who died from 2012 to 2022, and another 60,000 who were incapacitated via arrest during the same time span, according to the study. So I know TDA and the drug cartels in Mexico are two different things, but they both have an impact on our southern border. Drug cartels are responsible for bringing lots of drugs to the United States, fentanyl and things like that, maybe involved with some human smuggling. They cause a lot of mayhem, so that's a problem as well. But this is the latest report from Governor Abbott. The number is showing what he's done with Operation Lone Star here in Texas. Since the launch of Operation Lone, this is from November 8th. The launch of Operation Lone Star, the multi-agency effort has led to over 525,000 illegal immigrant apprehensions, more than 48,000 criminal arrests, with more than 41,000 felony charges. Texas law enforcement has seized over 552 million lethal doses of fentanyl, enough to kill every man, woman in the United States and Mexico combined. That number has gone up from the start of this. I remember when it was it was a lot smaller. So it's increased a lot. This number here has stalled a little bit, which is good. These numbers here, criminal arrests, felony charges, the total apprehensions, says Texas has decreased illegal crossings into the state by over 86% due to our historic border security mission. And you have the numbers here with the busing of illegal immigrants to sanctuary cities. 12,000 D.C., over 45,000 New York City, 37,000 to Chicago, 3,400 to Philadelphia, 19,000 to Denver, 1,500 to Los Angeles. So these are big numbers here. And I will post this in the comment, the section, the box below, to show what we have done as a state in the year 2024. I'm going to leave that right there. This is scary stuff, and I want this to end ASAP. I want to keep you informed as well, so you know what's going on. But all right, guys, like and subscribe. See you next time. Thank you. Take care.